Hello everyone and welcome back to my The Young and Restless 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. At Nate's place, he tells Audra to let him know if she's had enough of his family drama. She asks why he'd say that. He says she's quiet this morning. She's letting Amy rest. Amy appears and suppositions Damian has ain't been back in touch. Nate's sorry there's been no word. Amy thinks he must be back at home, going about his business like nothing happened. Audra and Nate try to make her feel more, but she says she's a failure. Nate thinks Damian's jest is on him. Amy thinks it's time she said farewell to them and went home. At Crimson Lights, Holden warns Damian there's only so long they can keep effects on ice in LA. Are they going back moment? Damian says there's been a change of plans, but not because of his mama. Just also, Lily walks in. Holden asks if she's the reason. Damian smirks, what do you suppose? Holden gets it, but there are plenitude of beautiful women back home. Damian says she's not there. It took a nanosecond, but he said about her name Lily Winters. She's Nate's kinsman. My family tree just got a whole lot more intriguing. He explains to Holden that there's no blood between them whatsoever. He gets up and walks over to offer Lily a mug of coffee. She says she formerly has one. He introduces himself as Damian Kane and she gawps, "You're Amy Lewis' son." Damian muses, "So you know about me?" "All good, I'm sure." Lily says, "Not really." She heard all about him from her kinsman, Nate Hastings. She explains that they're not related and tells him her name. She asks him about going back to LA. He's not headed back just yet. She's glad. He's left a lot of effects undone then. She's sure a man like him has further pride than to run down. Lily says she knows what it's like to get shocking news that turns your history and future upside down if you let. Damian ain't let it. She asks why he's still there. He'll buy her a coffee and try to explain. At his place, Nate wants another chance to make this right for Amy, who says he's done so important formerly. Nate is thankful for her helping him learn further about his father, who would want him to keep fighting to help her and Damian. Amy hopes one day her son will reach out to Nate. She'll try to find peace in that. Nate vows he'll go all the way to LA to hound him if he has to. Audra gets a textbook and tells Nate that he may not have to go that far. Damian may still be in Genoa City. Holden just asked her to go for a bite. Nate frowns. How did he get her number? Audra shrugs that they feel like resourceful types. Nate thinks it's bold of him to reach out, knowing they're seeing each other. Audra says this is their chance, she just has to get Holden to agree to do what they asked and work on Damian. Amy asks if she'd really meet with a foreigner for her sake. Audra repeats that this is their chance. She's asking Amy to let her take this shot and find out if Damian's in city. Amy agrees. Audra textbooks Holden and discovers that Damian is still in city. Amy gives her the go-ahead, so she textbooks back that she'll meet him for lunch. In Crimson Lights, Lily agrees to keep an open mind while Damian explains himself. Holden introduces himself and Lily recalls that he was the bone who pretended to be his master. Veritably deceitful. Holden points out Nate prevaricated to Damian about a job offer. Damian weighs in and says Holden is a good friend, who only did what he asked. Lily prodigies if he's sneaky and dishonest also. She wonders if perhaps they should head back to LA. Damian wouldn't have a chance to get to know her better if he was on a flight. At the GCAC, Daniel leaves another voicemail for his mama and asks her to please call Indeed if it's just to tell him to stop calling her. Summer shows up and he explains that commodity is veritably wrong. In Paris, Sally and Billy come in from their productive day. Sally gushes about him surprising her for lunch at the Boit. She teases that she needs a nap and pulls him into a kiss. They're making out when his phone rings. Sally urges him to answer it. It's Daniel, who asks Billy if he's heard from his mama. Billy says she called him last night, which was before in their day there. Daniel asks if he hears from her, to ask her to call him. Billy finds this weird. He deduces that Phyllis is missing and he's upset. Daniel may be overreacting, but he doesn't feel good about this. Billy tells Daniel that Phyllis sounded fine when he spoke to her. He wonders if she has a swain and might have had a date. Daniel says she's not seeing anything they know. Billy suggests she may have hopped a flight to Chicago to go shopping. Phones die. I suggest you give her a little further time. Daniel doesn't have important choice. They agree to keep each other update and dissociate. Sally asks, so Phyllis is missing? Billy says she's either missing or unobtainable. Summer and Daniel are upset. Sally says, and now you're too. They bandy the situation, and Billy says Phyllis can get caught up in her own chaos. Sally doesn't suppose she'd do it now. Sally points out someone drove Phyllis off the road. Billy says those people are dead, there's nothing to worry about. He'll try calling her and hope she answers. In the GCAC, Summer tells Daniel, the athletic club people haven't seen their mama. They've wasted time and now they need to call Chance. Daniel nods. At Nate's place, Audra comes down the stairs all dolled up and her swain sensations that she's ready to take on the world. Amy warns this isn't a game, she doesn't trust this Joe. Audra doesn't moreover, but suggests Nate stay with Amy. She tells them not to worry and leaves. Nate wants to get Amy some breakfast, but she asks him not to fuss. Nate's happy she has the energy to snap at him. They recap that Damian is still there, so there's still hope. Amy's not sure how much more her heart can take. At society, Holden's surprised that Audra accepted his assignation. She tells him it's not a date. This is a means to an end. And then for Nate and for Amy. I need you to do whatever it takes to change Damian's mind. He needs to see his mama, and you need to make that be. Audra thinks Holden can make himself useful. It doesn't count how they came face to face, it was an unpleasant surprise. Holden smiles about her running hot and cold and congratulates her on her new life post Tucker McCall. Audra says that new life is with Nate. Holden asks if she loves him. Audra won't bandy it. There's a dying woman who wants to see her son before she passes. Will you move Damian to see her or not? Holden tells her that's one of the reasons Damian's still in city. The other is a woman. Audra asks, who's she? Holden won't betray his master confidence. At Crimson Lights, Damian wants Lily to tell her each about the prodigies of her megacity. Holden tells him he's taking off for a bit. Damian tells Lily that until she tells him to leave, he's forfeiture where he is. Lily mocks his charm. Damian asks, do you know why I didn't catch that flight? Because of you. She knocked him sideways, and he demanded to know further about her. Lily finds this heartbreaking. His mama is stewing for her son, and Nate is trying hard to connect with him. Damian asks, can you actually says you're not the least bit curious about me? Damian complains to Lily that Nate and Amy ambuscaded him, but he did what they asked. She asks why they cut ties. Damian says that after their father failed, nothing was ever going to be the same. Amy wanted him to follow a path that didn't interest him. She couldn't let go of trying to change him, so he let go. Lily asks how he reached his position of success. According to Amy's timeline, your success happened enough presto. Nearly unrealistically so. Did he play by the rules? Damian makes his own, but if she means licit avenues, also yes. She asks, what's your secret? It wouldn't be a secret if he told, now would it? Lily asks Damian, does he not want to give his mama a little peace before he goes? Damian snarks, and also what? Hug my new half-family? Lily thinks someone holding on to as important wrathfulness as he is changeable. Damian says there's nothing he wants or needs from them. How, exactly, is he a trouble? Lily says whether she trusts him or not isn't the point. Her parents passed down and she always felt there was so much left unsaid. He might wake up one day and want he hadn't let Amy go like this. His regrets are reserved for the people who didn't lie to him. Lily says if he didn't watch, this wouldn't bother his so important. Damian asks her to regale. Lily tells him to ask her again after he's made peace with his mama. He smiles as she walks out. At Nate's place, Amy is hysterical. Being let down will feed her illness. Nate concedes he reached out to his coworker and asks her to allow him to shoot her medical records. Amy thinks there's no point, but Nate's friend works in exploration. Please, let me do this for you. Amy sees this as another way to get her expedience up. Nate assures her he and Audra will be there every step of the way. His father would want this for her, for all of them. Amy agrees to let him shoot her medical records to his friend. Thank you for wanting to save me. Nate's just passing her information along to a friend. Amy owes him further than she can say. A knock comes at the door. Nate opens it to Damian. Is Amy then? He asks. Nate says yes and invites him in. Amy looks dumbstruck. In Paris, Billy leaves Phyllis a communication asking her to please call her kitties and to call him too. He disconnects and rants to Sally that this isn't fair to her kitties. Sally agrees that it's stressful and asks if he wants to go home and look for Phyllis. Billy says the kitties are on it and Daniel will let him know when he hears from Phyllis. He teases that it sounds like Sally is trying to protest him out. Sally says, Phyllis will turn up. It's going to be okay. She hugs him. At the GCAC, Chance joins Daniel and Summer, who modernize him on Phyllis's exposure. Chance is sure there's an explanation. Summer asks him to please track her mama down. It would be step toward making effects right for the way he treated her family. Chance will do whatever he can. Summer hopes this is just her mama being mama, but she doesn't suppose it is. Daniel worries it's a bad sign that Chance is taking this seriously. Chance reassures him and tells Summer, I'm on it.